Hey, thanks for being a part of the conversation. Let's do some pod crashing. Episode number 345 is with Perez, Hilton, and Chris Booker.
How are you?
Fantastic. I mean, outside of just losing electricity, I mean, it's like I knew it would happen. The second that I get this opportunity to share a conversation with people who are in love with content, I just knew something would stand in the way.
You know, I grew up in Miami, Florida, so I'm quite used to weather and situations like that. Actually, when I was living in Miami, I was really young, so I kind of always, I don't know, there was something fun and exciting about hurricanes. Now that I'm an adult, I would not say something as stupid like that, although I just kind of did. But as a kid, I liked hurricanes.
Yeah. How did you guys come together? Because, I mean, every one of these episodes, and you're always talking about everybody else's life, but I want to focus on the two of you because not all teams work, but you guys do.
Well, we got together very organically. I used to do the entertainment report every day on Carson Daly's radio show in Los Angeles. He doesn't do radio anymore. He's still got that show on TV. Well, two of them. And whenever he had to call out because he was filming The Voice or this or that or the other, Booker would be his fill-in host. And I liked our rapport and chemistry better and enjoyed my time. No diss. I love Carson Daly, but Booker and I just did better radio together than me and Carson. And then I was asked to do a podcast forever ago, literally over 9 years ago. And I thought of doing it with Booker, and we've been together ever since.
Frickin' frack. It just seemed to work.
You're frack.
Thank you.
So how do you guys show prep? Because, I mean, you both of you, I mean, there's no way that you're just sitting there doing improv and ad lib because you really have your game together.
Thank you. Well, I'm the one that does all the show prep. So he just focuses on editing the show afterwards. And sometimes he edits it too much. Like I'm a fan of everything I say.
Yeah, that's the problem. Perez has diarrhea of the mouth, and he believes that everything that comes out of it's interesting, and it's not. But I can attest for his storytelling, his setup, and his understanding of a story, and you know, all the minutia of it. I think Perez is always on the game with that. But then every thought after that of what he thinks is really going on is truly erroneous. Nothing's ever even close to right. And I think our listeners tend to, you know, really believe what I'm saying about a topic, and they, you know, they appreciate his reporting, but, you know, his point of view is a little askew.
Sure.
I wish I could have seen your eyes, Booker, when Perez started talking about Britney Spears and Halsey. Oh my God! Did you ever heat up those speakers?
I think we kind of agree a lot on that story, and I think, you know, when a mental health issue comes into play, nothing shocks me about that story. I think it's unfortunate. And I'll just say that, and I hope they work it out, and I hope everyone's happy at the end of the day.
So when do you guys go into the studio and really jump into the performance? Because, I mean, I'd be the type of person that no matter what, turn on the microphone as quickly as possible, because there's going to be some stuff that's going to be said that you'll never get back. Or if you try to reenact it, it's not going to be the same.
Well, we get to work from home, so that's nice.
How about
Yeah. No, he gets a story, and we do a couple of shows a week. We have our podcast. We also have a Patreon show for the super fans. Yeah. And, you know, if there is something that's huge that breaks, we typically, you know, being that we can do this from our houses and not be, you know, confined to a certain a clock or hours of the day to do this, we can always jump on and give our point of view. That's, you know, the great part about podcasting.
Yeah. And see, maybe that's the reason why it does sound so intimate. Like I'm sitting there in the room with you because you're both in a place of comfort. And it's almost like you guys are, they call in radio, we call it the Cheers bar approach to a conversation. It's like, if you want to lean on your elbow, go ahead and lean on your elbow. Or if you want to sit back in your chair.
Well, I used to be too comfortable. For years, I did the podcast from my bed, and now at least I have a desk, and I do it in my office. So,
but yeah, there is a point to that. I mean, we do get a lot of people that call into the show and, you know, leave their messages, and they're so comfortable they just run on ad nauseum about like they're the third person on the show giving their point of view. So we do get that a lot.
Yeah, and then you insult our listeners when they call in.
I try to do it on every platform, including this show.
How do you get the listeners in there? I don't want to go in there and spoil the wizard behind the curtain. Is it pre-recorded, those questions? Because when I first heard the listeners, I'm going, how did they do that? Are they doing it live?
We collect the calls. We just have a system. It's almost like an answering machine, and we just play them back. And nice. It's usually we do so many shows. People always have opinions, especially when Perez gets something wrong, which is often. They like to call in and correct us, both of us at times even. But that is the interactive part of the show and the camaraderie that Perez and I have with the audience. I think that's the secret sauce of the show.
So how do you react when they do call in Perez and they say, that's not the way to go?
I could tell like from within the first 3 seconds which direction the call's gonna go.
Right.
Like are they gonna chastise me or are they gonna be on my side? So
or my side, you mean?
Yeah.
And the one thing that I've learned is that, people used to tell me in radio, anybody can do radio. And it's like, I don't want to be anybody. I want to be somebody. And you guys are proving that true, because anybody can be a Hollywood columnist, but you guys are bringing something to it that makes you go, I got to come back to this episode. I got to come back to another one. And you guys are doing it all the dang time.
Storytelling. It's storytelling.
Not everybody can be a podcast host, though. Not everybody can, but everybody tries. I feel like, everyone has a podcast these days, which is why the industry has changed so much. It's like it's hard to make noise these days. But thankfully, we've been doing this for 9+ years and we have a very strong listenership. But we're, trying to grow it because it's really good. Nobody does pop culture better than us, I think.
Nobody.
So when a story does break, do you immediately get on and jump on it? Because I remember when the Berlin Wall fell and I jumped on and started talking about it, I got no reaction from the people. How do you deal with that when a story breaks and it's like people don't want to react to it immediately?
Well, it's the opposite for us. It's like, oh my God, if we're like a few minutes late, we start hearing it from our listeners. So that's one of the great things about, the podcasting medium. It's like on our terms or whenever we want to do something.
Stories come and go. When a person hears a story and they immediately think, what do those two idiots that I listen to every week think? That's when you know you're onto something. And that's what we've built over the years with this audience. They'll hear whatever today's news may be and wonder, what's Perez going to say? Where's Booker's head going to be on this? And that's the secret sauce.
But see, like you guys said, you've been doing this for 9 years. That's the secret to doing a podcast, is that you've got to show up every day and allow people to tap into what you're doing so that when you do say it, they trust it, they move with it, and they carry it with them.
Yeah. Consistency too. And the show is, I always tell Perez, I said, the show is pretty much the same length every episode. It's the same format. It's comfortable. It's like when you turn into whomever's on Kelly and her husband, whomever. It's the same format. Mark. It's the same show.
So how did you develop that format then? Let's talk about it. So, because there's going to be people who are going to hear this. They're going to go, well, I do a podcast, but I think I'm doing it right. But now I'm listening to it and I think I'm doing it wrong. When did you guys decide to be as disciplined as you are? It's
both of our points of, we both operate that way. It's like he's very punctual. He's very on time. We both are. We have that expectation of one another, and the audience has an expectation of that. And I think when you start with that and you start with the understanding that this is a format and it's a consistency and you have to deliver week after week after week, they'll come back.
And also trial and error, for a while there, we experimented having guests and now we don't have guests anymore, which is easier for us because when you're trying to book celebrities, they're flaky, they cancel, they're running late, they're annoying. And, the people that tune into our show, they're tuning in for us. So that's really flattering. It's like Booker makes fun of me because I consider them to be family, but I really do.
I only make fun of you because you call them Fran. That's why I make fun of you. I agree with you that they're like family, but they're not family.
Well, there's nothing wrong with having a nickname for them. Jesus.
Yeah. What are we? Are we a boy band now all of a sudden?
There has to be a side of you, Perez, that if the opportunity came up, you would interview Prince Harry.
Oh, I said that, I think recently. I said, somebody asked me who I would want to interview. And I said, Prince Harry, because first of all,
Yes.
you know, a lot of people don't like him and a lot of people do like him. The fascinating thing about Prince Harry is that the interest around him is more interesting than he is. Like, I actually think he's a really boring person. And I don't mean that as an insult. I think that royals should be boring. You know, somebody like Miley Cyrus, not boring. You know, like 1/10 of Miley Cyrus is more interesting than the totality of Prince Harry. But I know that an interview with him, with me, asking all of the questions that people really want to know, would get so much attention.
So how do you guys react to a story like Justin Timberlake, where he openly admitted that he had the alcohol, but then his lawyer goes into the courtroom and says, no, there was no alcohol involved? It's like, okay, you've got two-sided stories here.
Well, that's what lawyers do. They got a lawyer. The judge threatened a gag order against the lawyer, but I respect the fact that the lawyer is just working hard for Timberlake. I want that lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you contradict what he's already told the police, that's where you're going to have a problem.
Well,
He
I don't
lost his
know.
license. We figured that's what's going to happen. He's trying to save face. It's not going to work.
I don't know if the lawyer said he didn't have any alcohol. The lawyer just said that he wasn't drunk, which is a different thing.
Yeah. But when the words come out of your mouth that I had so and so, which Justin Timberlake did, he didn't exercise his right to shut the hell up. He admitted what he had done. And now he's trying to put that genie back into the bottle.
He only said he had one drink.
Right.
Yeah, still.
Right.
You're admitting to drinking and driving, and that's where they got him.
True. I mean, I think it's dumb. It's very dumb of him.
This is every bit the reason why I tune into PHP. I mean, when I get in the car, you guys are there with me, and I can't thank you enough for even taking the time to talk with us about how you build your show, how you really are committed to content and bringing the stories to us.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you and hope everything turns out okay over there.
It's going to rain bad. They say up to a foot of rain. So, but man, I've got your show. I can listen to your podcast. I'm okay.
All right. Awesome. Well, sending positive vibes.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
Well, you guys be brilliant.
Thanks, Harold.